So, I think the best way to start this is not to talk about the movie, but to talk about the unlikely odds of us making the movie on time and actually making it before the movie starts. I think that's the only way to do this.
We bowl on Friday nights, and tonight was dollar beer night. It was dollar beer night.
So we figured it'd be fun to go to Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 with this guy completely wasted, which I was all for. I was excited for this.
I don't know a single thing that happened in that movie. I don't even know at all.
He's still a little buzzed from...
I'm a little buzzed. I can tell you that the 45-minute drive home, probably about the time I get home, I'm going to be really tired and pissed that I have to drive home, but I'm not going to be buzzed. But you know what? Right now, I'm feeling pretty good.
So, our original plan was bowl 2 games, skip the third one, and then go to the movies. He wasn't having it. He was like, no, we're bowling that third fucking game, damn it.
I was having a lot of fun, and what's funny is our team might have done better if we actually left.
If we would have left, they would have done significantly better.
It's funny, it's on him too. He had a bleed in his hip. Just your hip?
No, it was my behind my right thigh.
In his right thigh behind, he had a bleed. But you know what? We stuck it out, and we lost our team points, but it's okay. Because we're a great team, and we actually made the roll-off already. This week didn't actually matter. I just wanted to stick it out because I was having fun, and I like our team a lot.
But what ended up happening is we left the bowling alley at 10. Our movie started at 10:30. And we live out in the middle of nowhere, so it's to the point where it was like really hard to guesstimate the time that we're actually going to be there.
I think we left at about 10:08. We got into that theater at 10:40. It is a 32-minute drive from our bowling alley to the closest theater. Oh boy.
So, yeah, against all odds, being behind slow people and being paranoid that I was going to get pulled over with this guy who was probably going to make things worse if we got pulled over.
I was staying quiet and looking sensible.
So, yeah, we made it in the movie theater. We got in. Basically, we sat down, and we had like 2 or 3 trailers left.
Very optimistic. I'll tell you, we got there, and we were extremely excited to be there. We were amazed that we made it in that time. It was awesome. We're like, we're going to do this.
But the trailers were more or less whatever. They were kids' movie trailers, so like the Minions movie, I don't know what it's called, but it's the movie with like the emotions.
Oh, the new Pixar movie that's got the girl with the emotions in their head, and the only actor I could actually recognize was Louis Black as Anger.
Amy Poehler.
Amy Poehler is the main emotion.
Happiness.
Okay.
Well, anyways,
that's Amy Poehler. I'll give you that.
The trailer was basically happiness and sadness get lost, and they have to find their way back. I don't know. I don't care. And then
I'm just waiting for Incredibles 2 to come out. Go on.
I think that's it. I don't remember anything else. Nothing else really impressed me or made any actual mark. So, I went in this...
There was one trailer with a foosball team
That's right.
that turns into a fucking soccer team. And the only thing I could say to you was, that doesn't fucking translate. That doesn't make any fucking sense. I cannot believe I remembered that.
I can't believe you remember that either. I forgot
Wow!
that.
So stupid!
So, to explain what happened in this trailer it's this guy who's really good at foosball, and this guy comes back that he beat like 8 years ago, and he's like, yeah, I bought your fucking town, bitch.
At foosball! He beats the guy who buys the town at foosball! And the guy's like, I beat your fucking team, bitch. I'm gonna beat you
We
at
might talk about this trailer longer than the actual movie
I'm gonna
itself.
beat you at actual soccer. What? That doesn't late. Are you kidding me?
So he's like, oh shit, I don't know how to play soccer. So his tears bring to life the foosball figures that are in the foosball team.
Because
that
they have actual faces. I literally remember the detail of the faces on the foosball players.
And like the braided hair and like
it's elaborate. That's what it is.
So basically, what ends up happening is the entire premise of that movie is they're going to play soccer with a bunch of these mishaps, and then the actual foosball figures are going to be behind them and make it seem like they're doing this shit.
John Leguizamo, isn't it? That's literally all I remember, because then during Paul Blart, we thought John Leguizamo was in the fucking movie.
We don't know. We have no confirmation.
There's no fucking way that was John Leguizamo.
It's either...
I'm gonna look it up because I'm pretty sure. See, my mind seems to lapse because Paul Blart's daughter, like, dates this guy, and I cannot remember who that fucking guy is. I want to know who that guy is. He looks so fucking familiar, and I cannot tell you what he is, but he is so familiar.
Alright, so
I'm doing that right now.
He's gonna do that. I'm gonna talk. So we've put off this movie long enough. I think it's time to talk about it.
It's never time to talk about Paul Blart.
So
Mall Cop motherfucking 2.
So the movie starts off, and he's talking about his life since the first movie.
Why am I looking anything up? I have to talk to you with this. Oh my god, the start of this movie.
The start of this movie was fucking dark. Holy shit.
Just like the fucking sequel to every movie. Empire Strikes Back, Star Trek Into Darkness. It's fucking dark as it gets. Start of this goddamn movie.
So, the beginning of this movie, the girl from the first movie, he ends up marrying, and then like a week later, she like leaves him.
It wasn't even a week. It was 6 days.
And he doesn't take it well at all. Like, basically, I don't know what the exact word says, but she made it seem like that, like, she basically married him for 6 days, and then she realized how much of a fucking mistake that is because of how...
This movie is a 4.0 on IMDb. Go on.
Okay, that's great. A, B. I guess just because of how, like, I wouldn't say ugly, but awkward, and, like, just everything you see about Paul Blart, and I said Paul Blart, everything that makes you think, see Paul Blart make you think, oh my god, I'm going to drink this gallon of bleach, and I'm going to hope I succumb to that before any more of this movie plays. Regardless, after that, his mom gets hit by a milk truck and dies.
And the joke is, I can't believe milk trucks still exist.
Yeah, like, what the fuck?
She literally just wanders into the street
to pick up a newspaper
and gets hit by a fucking milk truck. You don't even know how crazy this is when you're this drunk.
We are watching this with mouths wide open like, holy shit!
I was like, is this real? Is this insane? Am I actually this drunk that I can't even understand how insane this is? It was that insane. The start of this fucking movie is that insane. I didn't even see Paul Blart 1.
I saw Paul Blart 1, but I saw it once, and I told myself as a little kid, never again.
Yeah, you never believed that Paul Blart 2 would literally be a thing. It literally be a thing.
So, basically, he's just a mall cop, and he's depressed, and then he finds out that he got invited to this convention in Las Vegas of other mall cops. So that's what he's going to do, and his daughter gets accepted to UCLA, but she wants to keep that a secret because Paul Blart wants her daughter to go to a community college, so he doesn't have to lose her.
It's some technical school with like 5 letters signifying the initials, which makes that funny. Oh my god. It was like Katagaba or something fucking stupid.
Then basically they go to Las Vegas, and there's this woman who, well, after they check in, he finds out he might be the keynote speaker, which excites him, and then A whole lot of nothing happens in this movie,
Well,
too.
there's this lady he talks to who's like very important to the security of the hotel, and immediately I look at Tyler and I go, "That's a love interest. She's a love interest because
Yeah,
she's an
yes and
attractive
no.
person."
Yes and no. Usually with the love interest, it's like he has to save her or something like that. This is literally just a, hi, I'm being nice to you. Oh, Paul Blart thinks that's hitting on him. And then he has to set her straight. And then she's like, but I'm not hitting on you. But we know you're hitting on me. And then eventually, because he's so, like, mysterious and off-putting, that makes him, like, desirable to her. So then she actually starts liking him.
That's her entire storyline. I'll just go all the way through the movie. Literally, the fact that conversation happens, slowly she's like, oh, I don't like him. He's not attractive. And then at the end of the movie, she's like, I love you. And Paul Blart actually does the sensible thing and goes, this asshole over here who's been my love interest enemy the entire film is actually better than me.
Not really love interest enemy. I would say asshole antagonist that's not really the main antagonist.
It's like a bad guy who's not an actual bad guy because this movie has bad guys. Oh,
He's
God.
the bad guy in the sense of he doesn't think that he's really a authority figure and basically think he's the laughing stock of mall cops or just cops in general or any type of authority figure, which he is. I'm sorry.
The instant he showed up, I said that's our protagonist. Because this is the exact same thing that happened with Unfriended. The instant Laura Barnes started fucking with everybody, I was like, protagonist, everything's okay. Did the same thing with this guy. I'm like, he seems like the bad guy. Protagonist, okay.
Seems sensible and
Seems like a fucking real goddamn person.
So meanwhile, his daughter's being pushy because she talks to this pool boy that Ducky swears he's seen before in something else. I don't.
Are you talking about Maya?
No, not Maya, the pool boy.
Who's the pool boy?
I don't know, but he's like, I've seen him somewhere.
Are you
Unless you're
talking
talking
about-
about Maya.
Talking about Maya, the guy that Maya is like with for the entire movie.
Yeah.
Now, I looked this up on IMDb. The entire movie, I was like, where is that guy from? If you have ever watched How I Met Your Mother, he is one of Ted's kids.
That's right.
Yep, literally it's like that. You're like, I have seen this person somewhere, but where? One of Ted's kids. That's it. He's the male kid in How I Met Your Mother. That's it. He looks familiar. He looks like if the Green Day singer had a kid. That's what he looks like. So he looks like a famous person, basically.
Anyways, so it gets to the point where she's being pushy away from Paul Blart and wants to hang out with this guy and wants to go to UCLA. And then Paul Blart makes an ass of himself throughout the entire, like, half of the movie. Cause that's
Half of the movie?
like,
What
well,
about,
the whole
like,
movie.
the
he
whole
makes
movie?
he makes an ass of himself in the whole movie, but specifically more so where he's just more incompetent than incompetent allows. Like, to the point where, like, Paul Blart, just go home. Stop being a mall cop. You need to stop while you're not ahead at all.
I will tell you when something funny happens, but it's not yet.
Things actually were funny sometimes.
I don't know what he's talking about. I think two funny things happened in the entire movie. I'll tell you the first one, I'll tell you the second one. I can't even fucking remember. It was a joke that actually worked, and I was like, haha, that's funny. I'm not going to remember what that joke was.
So anyways, meanwhile, this guy who originally I was going to make a joke that he was kind of like the bad guy from Die Hard if he had a baby with Uwe Boll. But anyways, what ended up happening is they planned this big heist where they were going to steal paintings and replace it with fake paintings, which is a dumb place to go to steal paintings.
Yeah, you're right. Why the fuck would you go to some random ass Las Vegas hotel to sell a painting?
Steal paintings and sculptures.
A Van Gogh that's not even recognizable. It was just, it had sunflowers on it. Very famous.
Anyways.
Fuck this movie. Go on.
So, Paul Blart ends up becoming the keynote speaker because the guy who actually... Oh, I forgot to
John
say.
Leguizamo.
John Leguizamo actually became the keynote speaker, and Paul Blart got sad because they have to tear down Paul Blart before he can get his redemption story in.
He's not John Leguizamo.
He's not...
Sorry, I'll check IMDb.
I didn't think so, but I said he looked and sounded like John...
I have no fucking idea. My
like,
vision is not perfect.
He seemed like fat John
like
Leguizamo.
a fuck. That's what he seems like. You're right. Perfect. Literally, that's perfect.
So, what ends up happening is he becomes the keynote speaker, and then he gets too drunk and then can't do it. So then Paul Blart becomes the keynote speaker and then rocks it, apparently.
I wish I could be that drunk that I was too drunk to do this. Seriously.
So then, I'm trying to remember how this movie goes exactly. So then more bullshit happens, and then while he does the keynote, his daughter gets kidnapped because she was at a party, and then walks into the room for some reason where they're planning the heist, and it looks really suspicious, and they're holding guns. So then they hold her hostage with her boyfriend, pool guy person, and then they're pretty much there for the entire movie. And then Paul Blart realizes this, and then throughout the rest of the movie, it's just him playing cat and mouse with the bad guys trying to get his daughter. And shit happens. I have
no idea if IMDb even has a picture of John Leguizamo on here. As in the guy who was John Leguizamo to us. I don't even know if that guy has a picture of himself. Maybe it's Nicholas Turturro?
I think he's also the guy from The Longest Yard. Yeah, I think... Okay, that's him.
Well, yeah, look at that. He's in The Longest Yard, and he's in I Now Pronounce You, Chuck and Larry, and he's in Here Comes...
Okay, no, I'm dumb.
The Boom, and he's in Zookeeper.
Oh, God.
And, like, literally, I'm going to keep strolling and see if I see any more Kevin James movies. He's in King of Queens. Tell you that. Longest Yard. Was Kevin James in Longest Yard?
No, he wasn't.
Probably hadn't. He's in Tremors 1, but that doesn't actually matter.
Anyways.
He's not John Leguizamo. That's what matters. But he's in some Kevin James movies, evidently.
So, he's in some Happy Madison movies. I'm
so glad I was too drunk to actually see that damn logo, because I would have been so frustrated if I saw Happy Madison once.
It's amazing, because I'm surprised you didn't fall asleep during this movie.
I didn't fall asleep. That was a miracle. I made it through the entire movie, and I can tell you for absolutely certain that the entire thing is just an entire blur of Kevin James doing something fucking stupid, and that's it. That's all I remember is Kevin James and his stupid face. And then someone else is with him. And that's all I remember.
The best part about this movie, the absolute best part of this movie that made me the happiest was how many people walked out.
Oh my God. You're right.
This has been a spectacle of movie-going experience for me and him, because we went to go see Unfriended at a matinee. Nobody was there. Not a single person.
This is the day.
That was fun.
This is the day the movie got released.
Which my explanation was Unfriended had no one in it because this movie was geared for high school.
Yeah, and all the high schoolers were in school when we were watching the movie, so nobody actually came to see it. Ugh.
Which, I mean, there could have been college kids that might have went to go see it.
There should have been fucking somebody who came to see that.
There should have been one person.
One creeper should have come to see that movie, and no one saw it. It's the day it came out. Are you kidding me?
Anyways.
That makes me happy, by the way.
And then
nobody came to
Paul
that.
Blart 2, we got there. We thought it was going to be completely empty. I said the exact opposite was going to happen now, where it'd be at night, but all the little kids would be in bed, so there would be no one in the movie theater to go see this movie. I said it jokingly. There was like, how many people do you think?
8 people. That's my guess.
8 people, excluding us. So, there's like 10
excluding us. 8 people were there, total of 10. I'm going to count on my hands how many people left.
6.
6. 6 people walked out of this movie.
Before it ended.
Like they didn't come back? I'm pretty sure some people went to get food and then
contemplated coming back.
And then came back and then left again. Because they realized it's Paul Blart Mall Cop 2.
Yeah, so by the end of the movie, it was me and this guy, and then this old couple.
It was an old couple.
And they were laughing at dumbass shit.
It was really funny that this movie is great. That life
my
isn't
God.
worth living, that we should just laugh at anything that happens in
I
front of us
felt
because we paid.
horribly depressed that they were laughing at this stuff. I was like, am I going to be like this when I get this old? I do not want to sit there and laugh at dumb stuff like Paul Blart.
It was $10.50 a ticket. I think they felt this necessity to like laugh because they have to, because they paid this much money.
They were laughing at the fact that they paid money to see this movie.
Oh, I paid this much money to see this movie. Oh boy.
Anyways, so that happened, and I thought that was worth noting because that's amazing.
It was amazing. I've never seen that many walkouts in a movie in my lifetime, so that's pretty impressive to me.
A, how many people showed up to the movie?
Yeah, you're right.
B, how many people walked out of the movie? So, yeah, and then Paul Blart does cool stuff, like he gets a bunch of gadgets and uses them on people, and you're like, oh, that's cool, I guess, maybe. The CGI in this movie.
Maybe. Don't even fucking tell me that maybe.
I'm
you
being
thought anything was
generous,
cool.
okay?
Your maybe's pretty damn
I
generous.
feel bad
right.
for ripping in this movie a new asshole. I'm gonna give it
It's
a
got
fourth of my credit.
It's got quite an asshole already. You don't have to rip it anything. It's called Paul Blart Mall Cop 2. If that didn't go straight to DVD, I don't know what's wrong with this world.
So, yeah. So the CGI in this movie is really shitty. Like,
you are just flowing with compliments right now. You're giving this shit so much credit. I can't even believe.
The CGI...
Do you want me to go right to the end? Just right now?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
We're holding off. Hold on. We'll get there.
We gotta talk about this
Talk
movie.
about the CGI that's at this moment.
Someone's getting a little cranky.
I am so cranky.
As fast as
I
bedtime.
just want to go home.
Okay, so the CGI was really shitty. It looked like from Spy Kids 3D. Shitty.
It looked like...
Don't lie to me.
It looked like it was from Spy Kids 4.
No, not Spy. I'd say 3D.
Don't you dare tell me that the animation from Spy Kids 3D is worse than 4, but go on, please.
I don't even remember. We watched that once.
It was so bad. Spy Kids 4 was so bad. Spy Kids 3D was so cool because I was a kid. Please go on.
Why do we do this to ourselves?
I don't care. Go on.
So shit happens. Guy who peacock attacks a person.
Oh my god. There's a peacock.
There was the slide that he missed and had to scoot back over the railing thing, barricade.
That was funny,
There
though.
was the bulletproof fucking luggage. Can we talk about that? Why the fuck would you need bulletproof luggage? Why would it be at a Las Vegas mall? And how do they make luggage big enough to fit Kevin James?
First of all,
Three things that I don't understand.
It was heavily advertised that it's bulletproof. And he's like, ooh, it's bulletproof. 2, you're absolutely right. Why the fuck would there ever need to be bulletproof fucking luggage? But 3, we're gonna describe this damn scene to you. He's sitting on the top of an escalator.
in the luggage.
He's sitting in the luggage, and there's this bad guy who's a fucking muscle for the main bad guy, who I assume he's in Band of Brothers. I don't remember what this guy's in. He's one of those people who you see in like every military thing, because he's like a short-haired blonde guy who's like military. Yep-a-da-ba-da. Like, I can't tell you what else he's in, because he's always in military things to me. Regardless, his henchman sees the luggage at the top, and he's been chasing Kevin James, and Kevin James is like scared for his life because he's a fucking mall cop, for God's sakes, and has barely a taser that looks like a hold-up flashlight. That's what the it looks like. Regardless, Kevin James sees this bulletproof luggage. He's like, oh, great, I have bulletproof luggage. What am I going to do? I'm going to sit at the top of an escalator.
Why? Why doesn't he just hide in the bulletproof luggage? Why doesn't he...
Like, sitting on the display. Why doesn't he sit there? He wouldn't notice him if he was sitting there.
He's sitting in the middle of nowhere.
So what happens is he gets on top of this escalator in the middle of nowhere where it's completely obvious. Literally, the henchman's like, oh, there's an escalator with a large man over there. I'm just gonna shoot it. And it's bulletproof. And you know what? I swear it makes holes in the bulletproof luggage. That's not how bulletproof things work. It doesn't make holes in bulletproof things. You know, if I wear a bulletproof vest, does it make holes in there?
It catches the bullets, it like dents in, but after a while it will wear and tear and actually...
After a while, I'm just saying that I don't think it makes holes. The fact that
it doesn't make direct holes.
I think the bullets break my ribs. They don't, puncture my heart, which is the point
they
of the damn bulletproof vest.
Because that would make it pointless to have bulletproof.
Okay, so the science on the bulletproof luggage is foolproof and perfect. Thank you, Tyler.
I'm saying the movie isn't right. I'm just saying it can eventually... Okay.
Happens.
The movie is wrong regardless.
He's like, oh no, I'm getting shot. So he tips himself over the stairs. And he takes this flying arc through the air that he hits the guy in the head. In the head. And the guy falls over and we're like, thank God. And then Kevin James falls in a pool and he makes a I'm drowning joke. And then the guy gets up and he's like, he's definitely dead now.
And then Kevin James comes out of the water fine. Like, oh.
He goes, ah! And he doesn't shoot him. How many times somebody could have shot Kevin James and just ended it? There's this point where there's a guy who just walks up with his gun and Kevin James is like, I'm standing there. And then he just walks up and he's like, misses. Kevin James is standing still. The guy sets his feet, is standing still, misses. Kevin James, the whole plot of the movie is he's a fat fuck, and he misses.
It's okay. Let it out.
It's not okay.
Let it out.
Why did this movie even happen? Why is this a thing? Why are we talking about this? Why did this even happen? That's literally...
Because it needed to happen. Maybe then Hollywood would start giving a damn. But they don't.
In no way did it need to happen.
Sequels and remakes and rehashes alike.
He told me earlier that there's a thing where Unfriended and Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 are having a fight for last place.
I don't know that.
He doesn't know that?
They're at a, competing for something.
They're competing for something.
Hopefully it's not, first place. I hope it's last place.
It's this even.
I hope they, are fighting for who's doing the worst.
It's like people understand that Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 is awful and they're not going to see it. And 2, Unfriended, there's so many ads for it. People don't want to see it. It's a fight to the worst. It's awful. But evidently from what we've seen, Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 is going to do better. Because you're at least 10 people in that theater as opposed to 2.
It's true. But we also did see this on a Friday night. And to see Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 on a Friday night, and there'd be 10 people, and a good, at least 75%.
By the way, this is opening weekend for this movie also. This is the first day this movie has been out.
I can understand a matinee being more empty than, a regular time movie.
Yeah.
But still, there should have been at least one person at, Unfriended. Kids playing hooky, or
a creeper.
Creepy ass guy just wants to look at teenagers flirt with each other. I don't know.
There should have been something.
There should have been something
on that. I will agree with you.
So yeah.
To this damn
spoiler
movie.
alert. He saves his daughter and catches the bad guy.
Don't say spoiler alert this late. We have spoiled the shit
Some
life.
people might have been hoping Kevin James.
Look, if you walked into this film and expected anything but Kevin James not being a happy SOB at the end, why did you come to this film? Guess what happens at the end? Kevin James is all happy. He did everything he could have done because the movie is called Paul Blart Mall Cop 2. So, if anything dark or bad happened at the end of the film...
Like getting kicked by a horse into a van.
Well, that wasn't dark, that was funny.
Oh, boy.
Look, he said it, we're spoiling it. There's a CGI shot of Kevin James getting kicked by a horse.
It's in one of the trailers, apparently. I haven't seen any trailers for this movie.
He is a damn trooper and never saw a trailer for this turd.
I went in blind.
Kevin James gets kicked by this horse because he's a dumbass and he fucking hits the back of the fucking horse. No shit. The horse is gonna kick you in the face.
Let me break this down and tell you exactly everything that was wrong with this 3-second scene. Okay, the horse lifts one leg up specifically at an angle which I think would be impossible for that horse to kick. That's A. It looked really bad. B, Kevin James flies at like 55 miles an hour at least. Like, he just torpedoes off from like a 3-foot distance.
At least, I'll give him that. He was going ridiculously fast.
Hits a red car of some sort, or a van. I don't know.
I don't remember.
That happened so fast.
I don't fucking care. I said the trailer like 100 times.
Smashes it to the point where it's rocking. Does like a flip. What type of flip was that?
What matters is when he gets kicked, he does this instant flip. You see him get kicked, and then he's over. Like, you don't even see a frame delay. He's just flipped over altogether. All of a sudden, he's like, and you're like, how do you flip like that? How do you get so much speed and at so much terminal velocity that he's spinning like a helicopter, but he goes directly backwards doing a flip?
I don't know what else we could say about this movie, because this movie broke us.
We can say plenty, because you haven't even gotten into the damn plot. I mean, honestly, I could summarize the plot.
Didn't we just say the plot? Here, you go ahead.
Oh, you want me to say the plot? You're right. There's this bad guy, and he wants to steal a painting. And Paul Blart is there for a fucking convention.
We said that.
He said all these things. He said all these damn things.
We said the only important parts of the
plot. And what
plot.
happens is he foils him. And that's the end of the movie. We said that. He's right. Literally, that's the whole movie.
Everything else is just filler bullshit that doesn't need to be
You
a movie.
know that he's gonna foil the guy. You know that from the start, because he's Paul Blart. Because everything...
I can't imagine what this looks like to someone outside, because my windows are getting fogged up now, and it's just a fogged up car just constantly rocking.
Everything goes wrong for Paul Blart. Something's gotta go right for him. Oh, he accidentally saves everybody because there's this, like, mall cop convention, and there are all these non-lethal weapons that Paul Blart can use, like a sandbag grenade launch paintball gun. I'm too drunk to even understand what that was. There was a grenade launcher. It looked like a...
It's a grenade launcher
it
that
looked
shot
like
out, like glue goo or something like that.
Yeah, it looked like an MDL, and there was like glue goo that like stuck to people. And there was this time,
it's like he shot styrofoam.
There was one time where he used it twice, and he shot that, and it worked perfectly. And then the second time he pulled the trigger, it just leaked.
And it looked,
glue goo.
That's what I was talking about. That looked like from a fucking like Spy Kid special effect.
You skipped that far through the movie. That's like almost the end where he leaks.
I just said the CGI looks bad.
There's so much that's bad. There's this time where Paul Blart gets the shit beat out of him, and there's no marks on his face. There's nothing.
That reminds me.
The crap beat out of him.
Probably my favorite part of this movie, legitimately, is when Paul Blart gets beaten up by like a bird of some sort, and then the piano guy is like, "Fuck that guy." Like, keep playing.
This piano guy who's just like,
just
I don't care. You're just dead.
Just playing his piano, just
He's
doing
playing
whatever.
this like really nice song. He doesn't even change tempo. He doesn't do anything
Nothing
different.
phases him. He's just watching this guy get the shit beaten out of him.
His job is literally to watch this guy get the crap beat out of him and play that piano. And
He does it so goddamn beautifully.
there's that, and then there's another like Indian mall cop guy who's like old and
Crazy.
It's so hard to remember what he does. Literally, his entire character arc is that he sleeps.
He sleeps.
It's great. Every time something interesting is happening, he's sleeping.
He's like,
and
fuck that thing.
And I love him. The fact that he's always just doesn't give a fuck is just like, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for just making
Representing the audience.
Thank you for representing me, except for the elderly people who are 4 rows back from me and keep laughing at the stupid garbage that's there. The fact that they don't cast a cop in the end as freaking Melissa McCarthy was like a waste.
No, I probably would have literally walked out I would have stood up and left if Miss McCarthy's like, oh, hey, Paul Boy! You're gonna be my love interest at the end.
I'll give you credit.
I would be like, no! No! And just run out. Be like, no!
I'll admit, that probably would have been the worst thing. I still think it was the worst thing when they did that in Hangover 3, and it was Melissa McCarthy. But that's another movie. Where you meet Melissa McCarthy at the
People I
stereotypical
don't
fat
like.
person.
Sir.
True.
I don't like this movie for a lot of reasons. But you know what? It's probably the worst. This movie probably pissed off a lot of mall cops. That they're portrayed like that. That's their people that people look at when they think of mall cops. That is fucking awful. If you're a mall cop out there, I'm sorry. That's awful.
This is terrible, the mall cops. I never actually thought of that. This is awful. They portray you as fucking... See, it's not like... What am I going to talk about? I don't know a damn thing about Paul Blart Mall Cop 1. I don't know what happens, but I assume that
you've
there's...
basically seen Paul Blart.
I assume that
when you saw
there's
two.
one mall cop, and I think there's like an Indian guy who makes a bunch of innuendo references. Fucking who cares? Anyway, there's a bunch of mall cops in this movie, and they're all portrayed as lazy stereotypes.
Not lazy, but also incompetent.
Lazy and incompetent stereotypes. I feel like you poor mall cops got a bad rap. I respect a mall cop when I see a mall cop. I see them driving with their security lights that don't have any blue or red in them, and I'm just like, whoa, he's gonna get somebody.
Regardless, this movie just makes mall cops look like doofy ass, folksy ass people.
This movie is a problem to the human race. It makes human people look like folksy ass. Whatever the fuck you said.
Not everyone. There's a few people in this movie that, like, other cop, or not cop.
French antagonist guy who's to the love interest who becomes not the love interest because
I don't know
Paul
his
Blart
name.
turned her
I
down.
just want to refer to him as not really the antagonist.
Yeah.
He was relatable. He said things towards him to make Paul Blart feel stupid, because he is.
He seemed like an actual political figure. That
Yes.
is something I didn't think I would see in this movie.
Okay, are we all out of steam? Did we say everything?
Yeah,
that
can we
need to say?
actually talk about the plot now? No, I'm kidding.
You can't say that. 'Cause
We're about done, I know.
We said about
the
the
whole damn
45-second worth of plot.
Yeah, like character traits. The bad guy has 2 colored eyes.
Oh, and his daughter ends up going to UCLA at the end of the movie.
Oh,
just as warning.
Yeah, the things that happen at the end. One, his daughter goes to UCLA in the end because Paul Blart. There are a couple times where Paul Blart is a reasonable person.
He makes rational decisions that
Where,
a
like,
human would probably make.
His daughter hides this from the entire movie because she knows he wants her to go to the close school so he can be with her forever. And he's like, fuck it, go to UCLA, man, it's your life. Thank you, Paul Blart, for doing a reasonable damn thing for once. The bad guys get foiled. Oh, big shocker.
Oh, what happens to him after that? Did they get arrested, assumably?
I don't remember.
Did they get incarcerated
Don't-
in a, like, federal jail, or...
Don't ask me. I don't even remember what happened to them. I have no idea.
Okay, so the bad guys done got. That's basically what happens.
I don't
They
know.
done got.
I don't know if it's the alcohol or actually nothing happened to them, but I don't remember anything happening to them.
As a sober person, nothing happened other than the fact that they got captured. You don't see them
Nothing
get
happened to
arrested.
them. Maybe they got arrested by mall cops and nothing happened again. Maybe they had to wait in a mall for like 6 hours for their mom to pick them up.
At least at the end of Paul Blart Mall Cop 1, you did see cops going in and arresting these people. There's like no cops in this movie actually making an arrest. These are all mall cops, which is all fine and dandy because this is a mall cop movie, but I mean, you gotta see justice get served somehow.
No justice served. I don't remember a damn thing.
They get captured
happening.
and stopped, but we can only assume they went to jail. So that happens.
Love interest
And antagonist.
It's like love interest walks up to Paul Blart Mall Cop and says,
Do me.
"Take me, man meat," and Paul Blart legitimately says, "No, go to pussy ass French guy," because that's what happens. The guy's like crying. She's like, he's crying. If I keep talking about the fact that he's crying, it's gonna make the moment funnier.
And it's gonna make the old people laugh that much harder.
Oh God. Old people. Anyway, like, he does that, which I will give him. This is another sensible thing. He's like, you know what, you don't actually love me for me. You just love me for the fact that action is happening in this movie and I'm the big action hero. So go to your person.
Go to a person you'll probably actually work with.
And that's good. It's a real thing. He did a real thing right there.
And then after his daughter goes to college, he kind of walks away. And then there's this cop lady on a horse, who is literally like Paul Blart girl, and she's like, "Oh, I caught you jaywalking because I'm all into my job to a absurd extent." And he's like, "Oh, well, I'm an officer too. Oh, well, here's my number." He's like,
because
okay,
I'm also an officer, I'm not going to give you a ticket.
but I will give you my number and we can have a drink sometime. And then he gets kicked in the face by a horse.
He makes a horse pun about not wanting to be called, but he always rides.
Done.
Wish he died. And
Roll credits.
There would be no fucking hope for a Paul Blart Mall Cop 3. I don't know who was clamoring for this movie. I can imagine.
I don't think there was a single
No one.
person. I don't think there was a single person who was like, "Give me Paul Blart Mall Cop 2." If there's anyone watching this video who wanted it, please comment. Please let me know, because I don't think there was. I am actually wanting to know who was like, I want to see Paul Blart Mall Cop 2.
I think they're just milking sequels, and they just hit a point where they're like,
This movie did kind of well. Let's make a sequel.
I can't even believe this movie ever did kinda well. I had a friend who watched Paul Blart Mall Cop 1 and told me that the best parts were in the trailer. If you put the best parts in a trailer, your movie is doomed.
Well, that typically happens at some movies.
A few movies, not
But-
many.
Not as much anymore, but there was a point where they did that a lot. But
Well, okay, I'll admit that we did watch Firestorm, and all the best parts were in the trailer.
let's also be fair. Everything that happened in Unfriended was in the trailer. You basically went to the movie to watch the filler.
You're right. The entire movie Unfriended is in the trailer, except for not knowing that. I'm sorry if you haven't seen Unfriended and you're watching only this movie for Paul Blart.
No.
You're watching only this video for Paul Blart Mall Cop 2.
How about we have a link now that they can watch that?
Do you know how much editing this is?
Yes.
I'm in charge of this, and you're gonna make me edit all this shit together? I'm not even gonna remember this shit.
Well then.
I'm kidding. But
Well then, just go watch our Unfriended review. That'll be directly below this.
I'm not so
Assuming.
drunk. So that should be pleasant for you. I'm sorry about that. But general wrapping up impressions about Paul Blart Mall Cop 2. No, for the love of God, do not see this.
This movie was worse than Unfriended, and I don't know how I could say that.
I would see Unfriended with a gun to my head over this in a heartbeat. They're like, you want to watch Unfriended? Paul Blart Mall Cop 2? I'm like, Unfriended.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir, pointing a gun at my head. I'm so glad you gave me a choice.
At least when I was watching that movie and I was rooting for like one specific thing to win, at least I felt decent about it. Everyone in this movie that I had to root for, I did not want to root for.
Why does Kevin James always become a terrible person in his movies? We watched Zookeeper, and there hits a point where Kevin James is like the least relatable character, and you're like, man, I want that guy to lose. Can that guy lose? I don't want him to learn a lesson. I want him to lose for good.
I'm really worried about is the movie Pixels. That has a cool premise, but it has awful people in it. And from the looks of the trailers, it looks like ass. It looks like it's going to be as bad as this, if not worse.
I don't want that to
I don't feel good about this movie.
Pixels does sound good without the cast. But if you're bored and have a gun to your head, just not Paul Blart Mall Cop 2.
Pick death over Paul Blart Mall Cop 2.
Anything but Paul Blart Mall Cop 2. It's become almost a life achievement that I actually made it to that movie without falling asleep. Because
I'm surprised you did not fall asleep. I'm surprised we made it here on time.
I have so much credit for that.
And I'm surprised you haven't literally broken a blood vessel from the amount of anger coming out of you.
I'm pretty angry.
Now you're just tired.
I'm tired.
You wasted all your energy.
I'm glad that this is over. That's what I'm glad for.
What's probably the next movie we're gonna see? I'm assuming Avengers. That'll probably be the next.
I don't know. I don't know if I want to do a video where we're actually happy about a movie.
We could just talk about cool shit that happens and what this probably means for the rest of the like Marvel movies.
Yeah, what'll be funny is we'll see that completely separate. So that'll be hilarious when we come together and watch that. But thanks for watching. I mean, I know
this has been a truly monumentous day for our channel.
I know I've been angry, but thank you for watching. Please subscribe for the love of God.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.